I'm Rue from Chicago. Please like and subscribe. My mom was a renowned doctor and loved me to bits. But when I was 6, I fell from a tree and hit my head. And even though I recovered fine, Mom went crazy. She never let me out of her sight after that. When I started school, she hugged me and cried like a baby at the gate. And she'd even drop by during recess to check on me.
Blood! Oh my God! What happened?
She picked me up and started running to the hospital. Mom put me down. It's just ketchup. And suddenly, we both went crashing into the food counter. By the time I was in 8th grade, I was super popular and a star player on the basketball team. Once during my match, I fell and bruised my knee, and Mom leapt out of the audience screaming hysterically. It was so embarrassing. And then she forced the principal to grant me 1 month's leave to recover. Ugh! I spent the next week in bed watching AVATA World videos about crazy, crazy moms like mine. But a few days later, it was my friend's birthday party, and I felt well enough to sneak out. But just as I was about to kiss this cute guy there, Mom barged in and smashed the music system.
That music's loud enough to hurt my baby's ears.
Mom, are you crazy? How did you even find me? Apparently, she had a tracker installed in my phone to always know my location. On the way home, we had a huge argument. If you ever do something like that again, I'm gonna leave for good and I'll throw away my phone. Mom, you won't be able to find me. And surprisingly, that worked. She kinda backed off, and I was relieved to be back at school soon. Guys, I'm back! I was hoping for an awesome welcome, but to my surprise, no one bothered to say hi. And just as I was about to sit, someone pulled my seat and I fell on my butt.
You can't sit there. It's Sally's seat.
Wait, what? This is my seat. And who's frickin' Sally anyway?
Me, I'm Sally. And you are?
I turned around to see a tall blonde girl offering me a hand. I'm Rue, and I think you're new because I've never…
Oh, Rue! The one with the crazy mom. It's nice to finally meet you. I just joined this month and it's okay. You can take this seat.
She smiled and went to another seat, and all the kids followed her. What the heck? A new girl had taken my place while I was gone for just a month. After that, I noticed how everyone was just too pleased by her. Even the teachers.
Oh, Ms. Olson, did you get a new haircut? It looks so nice on you.
Thanks. Sally, you're the only one to notice. You aren't just smart, you're kind too.
And she helped the other kids with their homework too.
Guys, I got this. You can copy from my assignment as long as you change some things.
Sally, you're the best.
Well, I doubted that. She was just too good to be true and just happened to appear out of thin air and take my popularity. But I wasn't gonna lose to her. A basketball match was coming up, and I was gonna show her who the real champ was. But on the day of the match, I could see Sally cheering for me with everyone else. In fact, she was cheering the loudest.
Woohoo! It's nice to have the champion back. Go, Rue!
Just then, I slipped on the basketball court and fell flat on my butt with a sprained ankle.
OMG! Someone help me pick her up. She's hurt.
Sally made me lean on her and took me to the nurse's room. She stayed with me the whole time the nurse attended to me, and I was beginning to think I'd misjudged her. She really was quite nice. Later, when I reached home, Mom came running and hugged me tight.
Oh my God! Are you okay? Let's go to the hospital right now.
Ugh, Mom, I'm fine. It's just a small sprain.
That's enough. You're not going to play that stupid game anymore.
Mom grabbed my shoes to throw them away, and that's when I noticed grease all under my shoe. Oh my God! Someone did it on purpose to make me slip. And I knew in my bones it could be none other than Sally. But since I had no proof, I decided to play nice for a while and keep an eye on her. A few days later, there was a big selection quiz for the nationals team, and I saw Sally mixing something in the free juices for all the contestants. Minutes later, the kids were clutching their tummies and running in and out of the bathroom. Ah, that evil witch! Of course she was selected for the finals! But I knew what she had done and decided to confront her. I followed her to the girls' washroom and pushed her to the wall. I'm not fooled by you, Sally. I know what you did there. I saw you mixing something.
Oh, Rue! What's wrong with you? Why are you hitting me?
And saying that, she slapped her own face really hard and started crying loudly. What? Suddenly, some girls came out of the washroom cubicles and pushed me aside.
Gosh, Rue, look at her face.
You slapped her so hard it's all red.
We're going to tell the principal that you're bullying Sally.
No! Don't do that! I don't want to cause trouble. We should give Rue a chance to fix this. If she says sorry to me, I'll let it go this time.
What? The freaking frogs! Me say sorry to her? Ugh, no way! I pushed her harder this time and stormed out of there. But now I knew she was a cunning fox, and I had to play smarter than her. Soon, the elections for the new school president were announced, and I was super excited to participate. But guess who else was running for president? Sally! She already had loads of kids working for her campaign and making her posters. One day, while I was in the library working on mine, I heard some noises. I went ahead to check, and I was shocked to see Sally bullying a kid.
What do you mean you didn't complete my assignment? I need it back within an hour or I'll kick your butt, you moron!
She took his glasses off and threw them on the ground and crushed them. The guy looked terrified as Sally walked away. Just then, I had a mind-blowing plan. I quickly went in and picked up the guy from the floor. Hey, you don't have to be scared of her, okay? I'll help you get rid of her, but you'll have to help me too. You just have to speak the truth in front of everyone, and I'll make sure she never lays a finger on you again. Deal? The guy looked at me with teary eyes and nodded. A few days later, we had an event where each candidate had to speak up in front of the entire school, and I was all set to see my plan in action. Minutes before Sally was about to come on stage, I was so happy to see the guy she'd bullied standing there already. Sally's whole act was about to be exposed. Yippee!
I need to tell you all something. One of the candidates here is a chameleon who pretends to be your friend, but in reality, she's a bully.
And saying that, he pointed at me. What in the father frickin' world?
That's her, Rue. She even smashed my glasses the other day and put my head inside the toilet. She's a bully.
What? Have you lost your mind? What are you talking about? It was Sally. Can't you remember? She smashed your glasses?
Who's Sally? And please don't kill me. Please, someone save me from her.
Saying that, he ran and hid behind the other kids, and all of them went bonkers on me.
Rue, we already knew you could be a bully, and now you're blaming Sally for this? Everyone knows Sally would never do something this horrible.
Yeah, we saw what happened in the washroom the other day. You're the bad person here, and you don't deserve to be the president.
And they all started throwing tomatoes at me. I ran out of there to save my butt, but I was so gonna kill Sally now. After the event was over, I followed Sally and saw her kissing that jerk who betrayed me in front of everyone. That's how she turned him on her side. She was such a devil. I heard them laughing and talking about how they'd humiliated me in front of everyone. I couldn't take it anymore. I went ahead and kicked him in the butt. You're such a world-class jerk. You lied in front of everyone for a wicked lizard like her.
Watch your mouth, Rue, or I'll tear off your tongue.
Whoa, look at that. Finally, your true colors are coming out, Sally. But guess what? I've known from day one that you're a witch. And soon, I'll prove it to everyone.
You recorded us?
Oh, yes, I did.
You know I'm tired of pretending to be nice to you. I wish you had slipped and hit your head that day, but you just got away with a little sprain. But today, I'm gonna kill you, Squid Face.
Saying that, she charged at me like a mad bull, and we broke into a wild fight. Within minutes, the cheating jerk came in and held me by my hands. Let go of me, you idiot, or I'll put your face in the toilet seat for real this time. I tried to fight them both, but they locked me inside a small janitor's room.
No one's gonna come here till tomorrow, Rue. And I'm gonna be the next student president by then. And your little phone, I'm gonna destroy it.
Both of them left, and I tried to break open the door, but nothing worked. When I'd almost given up, I suddenly heard a loud thud on the door, and it flew open. Mom, oh God, I can't believe you found me. I hugged her tight.
Are you okay, sweetie? What happened to you?
Wait, Mom, how did you find me here?
Oh, honey. After you said you were going to throw away your phone the next time you run, I may have put a tracker device in all of your shoes.
Mom?
Okay, sorry. But see, it helped. I was able to help you today after you didn't come home for so long.
She was unbelievable. I immediately ran out to find Sally and saw she was making a bonfire in the school backyard, and she had my phone in her hand. I went in and hit her from behind, and the guy ran away seeing Mom with me.
What are you doing? Let go of me, you witch! I'm gonna kill you this time.
Oh, you can try, but you're not getting away with anything now. This time, I tied her and made sure she didn't run away until we called the principal and her parents.
We are really sorry, but she has a histrionic personality disorder. Because of that, she wants to be noticed and praised all the time. We kept it out of her records when she joined this school.
Oh God, I didn't know I was taking such a dangerous kid. But you've been really brave, Rue. I'm gonna announce you as the next student president tomorrow.
No, I'm the best one! I'm the best! She's nothing.
Saying that, she broke the ties and leapt towards me.
I'm gonna burn this entire school with you in it, loser!
Thankfully, the principal had called security and they took her away. After everything was over, I turned to Mom, thinking she'd go all crazy again. But she hugged me.
Oh, honey, are you okay? I was so scared.
I'm fine, Mom. Thanks for saving my life today.
I love you.
But no more tracking devices, please.
Hi, I'm Brianna from New York. Please like and subscribe. I was raised by my single dad, who owned a multi-million-dollar company. Even though he was super busy, he always put me first, and I felt truly loved. He worked from home till I was 3, and then he hired the best nannies to take care of me while he was away. Life was good, until one day something really strange happened. I was 4 years old, when one night I saw Dad working really late, and I decided to make him some hot chocolate. As I walked over to his desk, I suddenly tripped on the carpet and spilled it all over his laptop.
Oh my God, Brianna, you fried my laptop. It has so much important stuff on it.
Suddenly, I felt something happen to my face. I could feel my lips and nose and cheeks twitch uncontrollably. Dad noticed it and immediately took me to the doctor. She told us that face twitching was an involuntary condition, and it just happened to some people when they were stressed. There wasn't really any cure for it. When I turned 5, Dad enrolled me in the best school around. In the first lesson, the teacher asked us all to write a few lines about ourselves. But this girl next to me kept talking so loudly with her friends, I could hardly focus. Hi, can you make a little less noise, please? I'm trying to write and...
Gosh, are you telling me you're as stupid as you look? But don't interrupt me again.
Just then my face twitched, and she looked even angrier as the others laughed. She thought I was mocking her, and after that day, Mona became my sworn enemy. And it just stayed that way forever, even when we got older. Once, when I was in 7th grade, Dad and I got stuck in traffic on our way home, and we saw a homeless couple on the pavement fighting over a sandwich. A boy my age was sitting near them with a basket of apples, and he came running towards us.
Sir, would you like to buy a pound of apples? It only costs $1. And with that, I'll buy dinner.
Dad bought 5 pounds and gave him $200. The boy's face lit up and he skipped off happily.
Poor kid. He should be in school, but his parents can't afford it.
Dad, why don't we do that? Let's send him to school. Please, can we? He smiled and nodded. A week later, Dad enrolled him in my school, and when the teacher introduced him to the class, I found out his name was Jack. He didn't seem to recognize me, and I never brought it up that I'd seen him before or that my dad was the one who helped him. I didn't want him to feel embarrassed, but the rest of the kids were brutal, especially that Mona.
Hey Jack, why do you walk to school every day? Where's your car, man?
Come on, guys. Can't you see how poor he is? His pants are 2 sizes too small for him, and all he eats for lunch are apples.
I wanted to punch her face, but Jack didn't even react and walked away. I asked Dad to get him new clothes, and the next day, Jack looked so much happier. One day at the end of class, the teacher asked Jack to collect everyone's assignments. As he was walking through the aisle, someone stuck a leg out, and he tripped and landed hard on the floor. I rushed forward to help him, but Mona got there first and threw a whole bottle of ink on him. That was it. I grabbed her bag and threw everything out of the window. She screamed and pulled my hair. I turned around and slapped her face as we wrestled. We went crashing into a poor kid's solar system project, sending planets flying everywhere. We both ended up in detention, but it was worth it. The next day, I saw Jack walking towards me in the hallway, and I felt nervous. It was the first time we'd be talking. As he got close, my face started twitching. He stopped and abruptly turned away. Oh no, Jack, please stop. I didn't mean to tease you.
You just wrinkled your nose like I'm something disgusting. I thought you were different after what you did yesterday.
Just let me explain, will you? I told him about my condition, and his face softened. We started hanging out after that, and soon we became friends. Well, I started having a small crush on him. He was sweet and simple, unlike any of the other rich hoity-toity boys I knew. A few days later, at a park entrance, someone was selling lottery tickets, and we both got a ticket each for fun. The results were posted online the next day, but Jack said he was too nervous to look. I laughed and took both tickets and started scrolling through the results. My eyes almost popped out when I saw some numbers. The winning one was mine. OMG, I just won the $10 million lottery. I didn't really need it, but this money could change Jack's life. So without another thought, I switched our tickets. Oh my God. Oh my God, Jack, you've won freaking $10 million. Can you believe this? He stared at me in shock, then started whooping and jumping around like a crazy monkey. It was the best moment of my life. I was so excited to meet him after the weekend. But as soon as I entered school, I spotted him in a corner surrounded by some kids, including Mona. Gosh, couldn't they just leave him alone? I rushed forward and shouted, "Just knock it off and stop bullying."
No, Brianna, relax. They're my friends.
I stared at him in disbelief. Friends? These guys? Turns out, Jack was on the local news for being the lottery winner, and now everyone in school was suddenly his friend. Kids were swarming over to our table at lunch and nearly knocked me off trying to sit closer to him. Everyone wanted to know what he'd do with his millions, and, well, he was spending them. One day, the flashiest red sports car drove up to school, and Jack jumped out of the back seat. He was now wearing branded clothes and carrying the latest iPhone, showing everyone pictures of his mansion. I was really happy for him, but he was suddenly so busy with all these new people and going to parties, I barely got to see him anymore. So one day, I texted him to ask if we could meet later, and he said he'd love to take me out for dinner. In fact, he picked out a really fancy restaurant, and it kind of felt like a date. But I was so mad when I kept waiting for 3 hours, and he never showed up. He wouldn't even pick up his phone. On my way home, we were driving past some cafes, when suddenly I yelled at my driver to stop. I spotted Jack under a streetlight, putting his scarf around a girl's neck and pulling her in for a kiss, and the girl was freaking Mona. I stormed over to them. "What the heck, Jack? You stood me up for dinner, and what are you doing with her?"
He's kissing me. Twitchy face. Because I'm his girlfriend.
His what? Jack, are you crazy?
Gosh, Brianna, I totally forgot about dinner. And no, I'm not crazy. Mona has apologized for everything to me, and she's actually really sweet.
No, she's not, Jack. Can't you see? She's suddenly into you because you're rich. That's why all those other people are your friends, too.
What's your problem, Brianna? Why can't you just be happy for me? Does it bother you that I'm not your poor friend anymore? The one you can feel sorry for and take care of? You just can't stand that I'm as rich as you now.
I can't believe you just said that. And suddenly, my face started twitching horribly.
God, I hate when your face does that. It's so annoying.
I snapped and slapped him across the face. I don't even know who you are anymore. And with that, I ran back to my car with angry tears down my Saw you as a kid on the roadside. It broke my heart to think you didn't get as lucky as me to be born to rich parents. That lottery ticket was also just dumb luck. I didn't do anything to deserve it, but I really believed you deserved a better life. I still believe that, and I don't regret giving you the money at all.
I can't believe I was such a terrible jerk to the best person in my life. I'm really sorry. I don't deserve your forgiveness or your friendship, and I won't ever bother you again. Goodbye, Brianna. I hope you have a wonderful life.
He walked away, and I had a lump in my throat as I watched him leave. A few years later, at university, I was studying in the library one evening when I realized it was quite late. As I was walking back to my apartment, I suddenly felt like I was being followed. I looked around to find two masked men right behind me. I tried to run, but they caught up instantly, and one of them snatched my bag as the other pushed me to the ground. Just then, someone came out of the shadows and punched one of them. To my shock, I saw it was Jack. The two men started beating him up as I screamed for help. Just then, a policeman came around the corner, and the two men ran away. I called an ambulance, and I immediately rushed Jack to the hospital. He was unconscious and in really bad shape. He went into a coma. 10 days later, I was sleeping on a chair by his bed when I felt a hand on mine. Oh my God, you're awake!
Are you okay?
Yes, I'm fine. Jack, why were you there that night? How did you even know where I was?
I regret what I did to you so much, Brianna, so I made a promise to myself to always look out for you. I was too stupid to notice, but all those years, you were my guardian angel. You watched over me and stood up for me when no one else did. I owe you my life forever, and I love you, Brianna.
Finally, you sound like that sweet boy I used to be friends with. I forgive you, Jack, and I love you too. And with that, I leaned in for a kiss.
Hi, I'm Elsa from California. Please like and subscribe. I was born to one of the most beautiful women in the world. Yeah, everyone thinks about their moms. But in my case, it was actually true. Everyone said so, and I was just like her. Dad adored us both, and we lived in a beautiful house. Life was good, almost perfect. But when I was 14, everything changed. One day, I slipped on something on the pavement outside and fell to the ground. And when I woke up, I discovered that I had small scars all over my face, and the doctors said they may never go away completely. I was in shock for a few days. Once the scars were healed, Mom took me to the mall to buy makeup. But just putting on some concealer wasn't helping much. You could still see them. The next few days, I spent hours watching YouTube makeup tutorials. I studied the way makeup artists transform their faces with layers of makeup. And once I'd applied it on myself, my parents were stunned.
Elsa, I hardly recognize you. But honey, the stuff will rub off when you play outside.
True, so I guess I won't be doing that anymore. A week later, my parents sat me down for a talk.
Elsa, we have some difficult news. Our company is not doing well and we'll have to sell the house while we're taking care of all this. We think it's best that you go to my sister in Seattle for a while.
Honestly, it was a lot to take in, but a part of me was relieved. I'd never met my aunt or been to Seattle, but it meant a fresh start where no one knew what I looked like before. 2 days later, I flew to Seattle, and a driver picked me up at the airport. Aunt's house was basically a mansion. I knew Aunt owned a skincare company, but I had no idea she was so rich. A maid led me to my room, and as I was unpacking, I suddenly jumped when I saw someone's reflection in the mirror. It was a really strange woman with an odd nose and an unpleasant expression. Hi, can I help you? Help me? How would you help me when you've come to live on my charity? Wait, this woman was my aunt? She looked nothing like Mom. Oh, I'm sorry, Aunt. I've just never seen any pictures of you. Of course. Why would your vain mother keep pictures of me? All she ever cared about was herself and her looks. Judging by all the makeup on your face, I guess that's what she taught you too. Not exactly. Since I'll be living with you, you might as well know. I took a wet tissue and cleaned the makeup off my face. Aunt stared at me, and then she started laughing. Oh, ha ha ha! This must bother your mother so much. She couldn't even stand it if she had a tiny pimple. She was obsessed with perfection. Well, she's not like that now. Huh, really? I'm guessing it was her idea to get you all this makeup? Trust me, I know your mother better than you do. With that, she just turned and left. Well, yeah, Mom had bought me the makeup, but it was what I wanted too. Aunt was just weird. And over the next few days, I realized she was really weird. She'd ask me to do the oddest tasks. I only eat the blue candies, so pick them out and throw the rest away. Get me 6 blueberry muffins from the bakery, and then pick out all the blueberries. I'm allergic. You have to read me 22 pages every night before I go to sleep. I tried doing whatever she asked, but then one night, she woke me up by calling me. I need 3 apples from the tree down the road. You need them now? It's 3 a.m. I'm not going, Aunt. And I hung up. But moments later, she appeared in my bedroom. If I were you, I'd do what you're told, Elsa. I've been doing that, but I think you're just enjoying torturing me. You and your parents owe me. They're nearly bankrupt, and I've been sending them money and also offered to send you to school. So I want those apples now. I climbed out of bed and went out. I didn't realize my parents were in so much trouble, and I didn't want to add to their stress. I got some relief from her when I started school. I was looking for my class the first day when a boy approached me.
Are you new here? You look lost.
Yeah, I'm extremely lost. His name was Christoph, and he was really nice. He showed me the way to my class, and as we parted, he said,
Hope I get to see you around later.
Maybe Seattle would be bearable after all. As I was looking for an empty seat, a gorgeous girl waved at me.
You come and sit right here, new girl. I'm Tracy, and honestly, I'm the only person worth knowing in this class. Everyone else is boring. By the way, I just love your makeup.
Wow, this Tracy was definitely full of herself. But she was kind of fun, and soon we started hanging out every day. A few weeks later, she proposed a sleepover, but it had to be at my house. Sure, but be warned, my aunt is weird. The night started off pretty fun, but then Tracy turned to me and said,
I want to know how you do your makeup. Here, use this to take it off and show it to me from the start.
Before I could reply, I heard Aunt yelling, Elsa, I can't find my underwear. Help me find it. When I got to her room, I found her sitting on the bed. Don't show that girl your face without makeup. Ever. Why not? And wait, how did you know what we were talking about? Not important. Now listen to me. I own a skincare company, and I promise everyone perfect, flawless skin. I can't have customers knowing that my own niece is, well, not perfect. It will be bad for my brand. So I'm just supposed to hide my face from my friend? Please don't make me remind you about everything I'm doing for you and your parents. Yeah, I won't tell anyone. I went back and told Tracy I was tired and wanted to sleep.
You're not going to take your makeup off first?
Nope, it'll last me another day. Luckily, Tracy didn't push it, and I was glad to have her as a friend. But the best part about school was Christoph. One time, he caught me looking at the track team's flyer.
Do you like to run?
I think it's something I could like.
I love running. Race you to the gym.
You're on! Suddenly, he sprinted, and I followed, but he was too fast. When I finally caught up with him, he was leaning against the water cooler.
Amateur!
I didn't say I was a superstar.
But you had fun, didn't you?
Before I could say yes, I wiped sweat off my forehead and saw my makeup start to run. Oh, no, I gotta go. I ran like crazy and only stopped when I reached the bathroom. I was able to fix my makeup just in time. But when I was leaving for home that day, Christoph caught up with me.
Hey, why'd you run off like that before?
Before I could reply, a car honked loudly, and it was my aunt calling out to me. Why are you here? I can't pick up my favorite niece now. And who's that boy? Just a friend. You're obviously lying. You like him. Well, don't tell him about your real face if you want him to like you back. Maybe not everyone's as shallow as you, Aunt. Oh, yes, they are. Trust me, I know. I got mocked for my appearance all the time. I couldn't change other things, but I could change my skin. And I really did with my creams. But unfortunately, you only have makeup, and that rubs off. She made me so mad. But what if she was right? Maybe Christoph wouldn't like me if he knew the truth. But something totally unexpected happened the next day. Tracy had bought some new foundation, and she kept insisting at lunch that I try it. I told you, I don't want to take my makeup off right now.
Can you drop it? Why are you like this? It's weird that you never take off your makeup in front of anyone. It's almost pathetic.
Suddenly I felt mad. I'm pathetic? What about you? Is there anything even real about you?
I'm more real than you are.
Really? Are your eyelashes real? And what about your nose job? Is this even real? I tugged on her hair just for effect, but suddenly half of it ended up in my hands. Oh God! I had no idea Tracy wore hair extensions.
You knew, didn't you? Yeah, I'm insecure about my hair. You're insecure about your skin. But I'd never take your makeup off like that.
How would I know? I'm sorry. But it was too late. Everyone had seen me. They all thought I was a bully now and had exposed Tracy's secret on purpose. I tried to apologize, but Tracy completely ignored me. No one else was talking to me either. And even worse, Kristoff was being cold to me. Hey, it seems like you've been avoiding me.
Well, yeah, I have. That was a really messed up thing you did to Tracy.
I promise I didn't know.
I'm not sure I believe that. How could you not know? She's your best friend. You're just not who I thought you were.
That hurt me more than anything else. I felt super lonely, so I just started having my lunch in an empty classroom while watching AVATA videos on YouTube. It was the only thing that made me feel better. A few days later, I saw Kristoff going into the gym, and I decided I'd tell him everything so that he could get to know the real me. He hadn't seen me yet, and just then, he started rolling up his pants. He had scars all over his legs. Suddenly, he realized I was right behind him.
Elsa, you weren't supposed to see that. Please don't tell anyone. It happened in an accident and no one knows.
Kristoff, I would never tell anyone. I wouldn't even have done that to Tracy if I'd known the truth about her hair.
I want to believe you, but I don't think you understand what being insecure about something feels like. You look so perfect all the time.
And then I wiped off my makeup to show him my real face.
Oh, Elsa, I had no idea. You're beautiful. Thank you for showing me.
He pulled me into a tight hug, and for the first time since my accident, I felt seen and accepted. Accepted as me. The next day at school, I came with my makeup as usual. But Kristoff showed up in shorts, exposing his legs for the world to see. What was he doing?
Elsa, I wanted to thank you. When you showed me your scars yesterday, I just became less afraid to show mine. I don't want to hide them anymore.
I don't know what to say, especially because I haven't been so open about my own scars.
Maybe you can take your makeup off now. We can take this step together.
I wish I could, but I can't let anyone see me without makeup. I told him how my witch aunt had instructed me to never take off my makeup in public, or she'd stop helping my family.
We can keep it a secret as long as you reapply it before you go home. She won't know, right?
At first, most of the kids at school didn't even recognize me without makeup. When they realized who it was, they were stunned. But I was surprised by how many people told me I was brave. Tracy looked shocked when I walked up to her. Here's my secret. Will you believe me now? That I would never have let yours out on purpose?
Yeah, I suppose you wouldn't.
I thought things were finally back to normal. But the next day, I was about to go home when someone told me to check Tracy's Facebook page. She'd posted a picture of me without makeup in a caption that said, "I guess Ms. Perfect isn't perfect after all." Wow, so she hadn't forgiven me after all. I was gonna kick her butt the next day. But when I got home, Aunt was waiting for me, looking like a tiny dragon.
You want to explain this picture to me?
Not really. You were wrong about everyone, Aunt. No one judges me for my scars. In fact, they think I'm awesome for not hiding them. And Kristoff thinks I'm beautiful just the way I am.
They're lying. They're laughing behind your back. And you messed up big time by not listening to me. I'm gonna withdraw you from that school and stop sending money to your parents.
Excuse me, what's this about you sending us money?
Aunt and I turned around in shock to see Mom behind us.
Elsa, has she been treating you badly? Why didn't you tell me?
When I told her everything, Mom was furious.
You petty, petty woman. As if you'd ever offer a single penny to anyone. I've been sending you money for Elsa's school. I know you've always envied me, but I didn't think you'd stoop so low and take it out on my daughter.
And why would I envy you? I'm successful and have all the money in the world.
Yeah, but you're gonna rot alone in this mansion. Good luck.
Mom took my hand and we left. I was so glad to be out of that house.
Honey, our business is doing much better now. And we even found a house. I came to get you so that you could see it before we bought it.
I'm so happy things are better, Mom. But do you think we could move to Seattle? I finally feel like I fit in here. Mom looked really surprised.
Yeah, I think we can do that. But are you sure?
I thought about Kristoff and smiled. Yeah, I'm sure.
Hi, I'm Milo from Sweden. Please like and subscribe. When I was 4 years old, all I wanted was a huge family. Dad, why don't I have a mom? All my friends have moms, brothers, sisters.
How dare you say that to me? Am I not enough for you? Just go away.
My dad was always like this, angry and irritated. He never got along with anyone, and he got fired from every single job he took. We were so poor that he pushed me to school in the stolen shopping cart. No way we could afford a car. When I was in the 10th grade, Dad came home with a crazy surprise. A baby sister from one of his girlfriends. I was over the moon. He didn't even bother naming her, so I did it. I'll call you Annie. Isn't it a cute name, Dad? He didn't care. He was too worried about how we were going to have enough money to raise a baby. Since he couldn't hold the job, he had to borrow money from a local billionaire. Only problem, my dad took the money and ran. He just left me and Annie alone. The billionaire was furious when I told him we couldn't pay him back.
I gave him thousands of dollars. I'll have to call the police, and you two will be sent to foster homes.
No way that they'll separate me from my sister. Please don't call the police. I can pay you back. I can work for you.
You're only a stupid boy. What will you do?
I'll clean the pool, do the dishes, mow the lawn. You can slowly take your money out of my paychecks. Please, just give me a chance. It actually worked. The billionaire let me work for him in exchange for a small salary and a place to live in his pool house. This pool house was way bigger than any apartment I'd ever lived in, so I was thrilled. I went to school every morning with Annie strapped to my chest and worked at the mansion all evening. Everything was going well until one night when I was just about to sleep, someone started screaming outside.
Bubba, I'm scared. Bubba, I'm scared.
Stay here, sweetheart. I've got this. I ran out to see a strange, beautiful girl jumping into the pool.
Woohoo, cannonball!
Intruder, someone's breaking in.
Wow, you're cute. Want to jump in?
I take a broom and some special items to trap her.
What are you doing?
I'm keeping you here while I call the cops.
Stop it, I'm Zoe. This is my house.
Liar, I've never seen you here.
That's because I just moved back in with my dad, you idiot. I lived with my mom before, but get me out of here before I get you fired.
She crawled out of the pool angrily and showed me pictures of her phone with the billionaire.
Believe me now, pool boy?
My name's Milo.
I don't need to know your name if you don't work here anymore.
I'm sorry. I just never seen you before. Please don't tell your dad about this. I need this job. She got so close that I thought she was going to kiss me, but she said...
Anything.
Sure, what do you want? Apparently a lot. Zoe was wild. She partied a lot and stayed out late every day. I had to help her sneak back in each time. One time, she had a huge fight with her dad and ran away to spend the night with her mom. I had to lie in her bed and pretend to be her. So embarrassing. I did all of it for my sister, but as she got older, her needs started changing.
Bubba, when can I go to school like you? I want to play with the other kids.
That made my heart sink. I didn't have enough money to pay for school, but I wanted to give my sister the whole world. I decided to ask the billionaire for a loan, and he said he'd think about it. But little did I know that Zoe was going to wreck everything. It was a night like any other. She was sneaking back into the mansion at 3 a.m. and I was pushing her through the window when suddenly she fell. We fell onto a super expensive television. The screen shattered to pieces. Thankfully, Zoe wasn't hurt, but her dad was really mad.
Who did this?
Milo was cleaning and he slipped.
I could barely protest before the billionaire lost it.
Do you have any idea how much this costs? There's no way I'm giving you a loan now.
What? Wait, what loan?
Please, sir, that money is for my sister. She can't go to school without it.
No way! Figure it out yourself.
I was so mad. I just stormed out of there, locked myself in the pool house. Minutes later, it was a knock on the door. It was Zoe. What are you doing here? Won't you be satisfied till you ruined my whole life?
I didn't know about your sister or all these problems.
Why should I tell you you're just some rich girl who decided to make my life miserable? Please just leave me alone. I slammed the door shut and stormed back in. If she wanted to have me fired, so be it. I avoided her completely. I just went to school and did my work like I used to. I applied for a few extra jobs to do over the weekend. I had to send Annie to school. Somehow, it all changed when Zoe showed up at the pool house one night.
Please don't shut the door. I'm sorry I acted like such a jerk. I brought you something.
She handed me a whole stack of money.
It's my pocket money. Dad tries to buy my love with cash. That should be enough for your sister's school.
I was numb with shock. I can't keep this!
You better, pool boy. I saved up all month for you.
No, take it back.
You can't make me.
She just turned and ran.
Use the money, thank me later.
This girl was crazy. With her help, I was able to afford a decent preschool for Annie. I didn't have to get a second job, so I had free time to study. I even tried out for the school swim team, and I was so shocked to see I was the fastest kid there. I got in right away. Things at home were the easiest they've ever been. Zoe didn't ask me to help her when she was sneaking in anymore. She even babysat Annie while I was busy. One time I came home to see Annie and Zoe wearing matching dresses. Zoe had shopped for her. I don't get it. Why are you being so nice to us?
I'm making up for being a jerk.
You don't need to spend so much money. You're already forgiven.
Hey, I like Annie. She's super cute and funny. I'm not just doing it for you.
Still, I have to give you something in return.
Okay, then go out on a date with me.
What?
You're sweet, caring, and kind of adorable. I like you. What do you think of me?
I was shocked. How could an heiress want to date someone like me? Before I could say a word, I heard a shout behind us.
What did you just say, Zoe?
It was her dad.
Did you just tell the pool boy you like him?
His name is Milo.
Who cares? You're not dating some poor beggar. Wait, is this why you've been asking me for extra pocket money? Have you been spending it on these two?
He turned purple with rage and marched into the pool house. He started throwing all my things around.
Where's all the cash? Where did you hide it? Give it back to me.
Stop it! I grabbed him and tried to pull him back and he shoved me away.
Your sister is wearing a new dress. Did you get Zoe to buy that for you? You pathetic thief!
He stormed towards my sister and I lost it. I tackled him and threw him into the pool. How dare you charge at my sister? I'm gonna kick your butt! Just then, Annie started crying loudly, and in an instant, all my anger suddenly melted away. I grabbed her and marched into my house to pack all my things. I couldn't live with this monster anymore. I'm quitting!
Don't you dare quit! You still owe me money. Then call the police.
I don't care, I'm leaving!
Yeah, clean your own pool.
Took Annie and got the heck out of there. I called up my swimming coach and explained my situation to him. Thankfully, he and his wife let us live with them for a while. I tried to focus on getting a new job, but I couldn't stop thinking about Zoe. I called her many times since that day, but she never picked up. I had no idea how much trouble she was in. Annie missed her all the time too. I thought I'd never see her again until the date of a very important swimming match. All the schools were competing, and our biggest donors were coming to watch. I was so focused on the match that I didn't see all the missed calls on my phone from Annie's school. I swam my heart out and won first place. After the award ceremony, I checked my phone and nearly had a stroke. Annie was sick. Her school had gone crazy calling me to take her home. I literally flew out of there and dashed off to her school, ready for the worst. But I found her playing games in the grass.
Bubba, look who I called.
Zoe was behind her giving me the cheekiest grin. I couldn't believe it.
Don't worry, Annie's fine. She just ate some bad food.
I threw up on my teacher. Hee hee hee.
I gave Annie a tight hug and she gasped.
Bubba, you won gold.
That doesn't matter. How do you feel now?
I feel perfect because Bubba wins. Yay, I knew you're the best.
I turned around to thank Zoe but saw her leaving. I grabbed her arm and pulled her back. No way you're leaving just like that. We haven't spoken in months. What's going on with you? Zoe revealed how her dad had become super strict since the incident. He never let her go out anymore and she could only sneak away when he was busy at work. And he was setting her up with some rich boy to marry him. That's crazy, we're just kids!
He thinks I need to be kept under control. I wish I could leave, but he has full custody.
Then you should take him to court again. You need to stand up to him if you want to be with your mom. Fight for it! She knew I was right. She convinced her mom to call their lawyer, but she was scared of moving her stuff out of the house. I decided to help her and went to her mansion together. Her father had a total fit when he saw us. He tried to stop Zoe from packing, but I stood in between them like a wall.
Move, or I will punch you.
Why don't you try, old man? I'll knock you out right now.
I'm calling the police. I have full custody and Zoe cannot leave without my permission.
Fine, do it. Mom's already talking to her lawyer and she's going to fight for me and she will win after I tell the court everything you put me through. Just back off.
She pushed him away and we all stormed out. Her father kept screaming behind us, but we didn't care. When I finally got her to her mom's house, and Zoe was literally jumping with joy. We could finally live our lives the way we wanted, and Zoe's dad tried to wreck that many times. He kept calling us for days till we had to block him. Then he filed a police complaint against me saying I robbed him and kidnapped Zoe. I was in jail for 2 whole days while the police investigated the matter. This was so crazy. They just believed his lies until Zoe showed up. She told the cops the whole truth. She wasn't kidnapped, he didn't steal, and her father was a lying jerk. They had no choice but to let me go. I wanted to make a graceful exit, but Annie turned to the billionaire and said,
She wants that!
I was screaming from happiness outside. Thank you so much, you saved my butt.
She was so cool, wasn't she, Bubba?
Coolest! Suddenly Zoe threw her arms around me. Into my shock, she kissed me right on the lips. I was so shocked.
That was so cute! Kiss again!
Shut up, Annie!
Kiss! Kiss! Kiss!
Sorry, I couldn't help it. I was so worried about you, and I'm sorry about this whole mess, and...
I leaned in and kissed her. It was a quick peck on the lips, but she turned red.
You kissed me.
I'll do it again. I pulled her to me and gave her another kiss. It was perfect.
Hi, I'm Maggie. Please like and subscribe. Everyone knew Mark was a jerk. I would always see him harassing one of the shy kids in the halls at school. One day, I had had enough, so I marched up to him and yelled, "Hey, stop bullying people. You're hurting their feelings." Mark was stunned. No one had ever stood up to him before. The shy kid ran away, and we were left staring at each other. I was scared of what he would do or say, but he didn't really do or say anything. He only looked down like he was really sad and walked away. I was so shocked, and I had to admit, felt kind of bad. I never yelled at anyone before, and I only did it because I thought he would get mad, but seeing him sad made me feel terrible. The next day, the entire hallway stunk. Everyone was trying to find out where the smell was coming from. As soon as I got close to my locker, I knew something was wrong. I opened it to find that it was yesterday's fish sandwich. It had been put in there and left all night. I almost puked. That's when I saw Mark smiling from down the hall. He was wearing those big, stupid headphones he always wore, and he even waved to me. All the guilt I had disappeared. I was gonna get him back, just needed to figure out how. All day, I snuck behind him, following, watching like a stealthy ninja. Every move he made, I was right there, but he never saw me. I noticed him writing in his notebook all day in every class, but he was never prepared with the assignments, so I knew whatever he was writing, it wasn't homework. The notebook became my obsession. I needed to know what was in it so I could use it against him, but he never left the thing alone. It was always right beside him. Finally, in English class, he went to the bathroom, but he was smart, or should I say paranoid enough to put the notebook in his bag. I pretended to drop my pencil and crawled to his bag. I couldn't take the whole notebook without being discovered, so I just opened the zipper and I hoped that would be enough for the notebook to fall out when he took his bag. And then, when the bell rang and class was done, he put his earphones on again, picked up the bag, and the notebook fell out. He didn't hear it, of course, so I ran and grabbed it. I ran home and read it. It wasn't jokes or anything mean. It was poems, and they were all really sad and beautifully written. I almost cried reading them. Suddenly I understood why he was so mean to people. It sounded like his dad was really mean to him at home and made him feel nothing at all. There was a time when we were little, in kindergarten, when Mark would tear up the notes that came with school lunches from other kids' moms. I thought he was such a jerk for doing that. But one day, one kid's lunch had 2 notes and one was for Mark. I guess that mom heard what he was doing and thought maybe it was because he didn't get notes. Mark never ripped up the notes again. But now, reading his journal, I remembered he was in foster care, which meant the people he lived with weren't even his real parents. And maybe they didn't want him at all. I guess if you feel like an insect, being a bully is probably the only thing you can do to feel like you have any say in your life. I wrote him a letter and said it wasn't his fault that he felt like that. I finished the letter and put it in his notebook. When I saw him at school the next day, I felt totally different about him. I saw the sadness in him and how no one paid any attention at all to him. And I admit I swooned a little while when I realized he was actually pretty cute. I got the notebook out and walked up to him with it.
Is that mine?
It fell out of your bag yesterday.
And you didn't give it back?
I got busy. Sorry. I gave it to him. He opened it and saw my letter. He read it there as I stood watching my cheeks getting redder and redder by the second.
You read my journal?
He kept his eyes on the page like he couldn't face me. I understand why you're mean to people. But before I could finish, he ripped my letter from the notebook and dropped it on the floor.
Don't ever read my stuff without permission again.
All the good feelings I had for him disappeared. Didn't he know how hard I worked on that letter? How much I cared? Not to mention I bore my soul to him. I got red again, but this time it wasn't embarrassment. It was rage. That night, I told my mom everything she told me.
Honey, you tried to do something nice and that's great, but you read his private journal without asking. You invaded his privacy.
I'm the only person who saw him. Everyone else ignores him.
I understand, but that doesn't make him any less worthy of having privacy, does it?
I went to my room without talking to her for the rest of the night. How could she not see what I had done? I put my heart on the line and got rejected. I did the right thing. All I wanted was to help him and let him know I understood. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept tossing and turning, thinking about how he acted, but also what my mom said and how violated I would feel if someone read my diary. After barely sleeping a wink and finally calming down so I wasn't so angry anymore, I decided she was right. As soon as I got to school, I would apologize to him, and that would be that. I practiced my speech the entire walk to school that morning. Every word I would say, every gesture, I wanted to be understood and let him know that I understood him too. But when I got to school, I was horrified to see that there were printed posters of me all over the halls. They had my school photo and said, "Maggie is a stalker." Everyone was looking at me. I ran to the bathroom and cried. How could he do that to me? Maybe I was wrong to think he had any good in him at all. I wanted to run away and go home, but we had a big test that day. So I had to sit in class after class while the other kids whispered about me. I sat in all my classes, getting angrier and angrier, waiting for my last class when I would finally see him. I couldn't wait to confront that jerk. When I finally saw him, he smirked at me. I stomped right up to him and yelled, "Tell them it was you!
It was me.
Tell them it's not true!"
It is true. You read my journal.
I was so frustrated. All I could think of was to scream. The teacher came up to both of us and gave me detention for yelling in class, and gave him detention for pulling the prank. When we were both in detention, I made sure I was looking out the window, or at the ceiling anywhere, as long as we were not looking at each other. And of course, he starts whistling. I had to grind my teeth to keep from yelling again. Then, the teacher left to get a coffee, and we were left alone. It was so awkward. After a while, he took out his notebook and was reading something inside really intently. I had to admit I was curious about what it was, and then he wrote something, and I was so mad at myself for even caring. But I did. I wanted to know what it was. As much as he annoyed me, I really did like his poems. But then I remembered his prank and ignored him. It was so mean. How could he do that?
Did you really mean what you wrote in your letter?
I couldn't believe he was actually talking to me. Yes, of course, but how do you remember? You threw it away.
After I put all the posters up, I went back and found it in the trash.
He took out a paper from his journal. It was my letter.
No one's ever seen me the way you did.
Then the bell rang, and detention was finally over. He moved to the door, but before he could leave, I said, "I'm sorry about reading your journal, but I really like your poems." He turned and looked me in the eyes and said,
"Can you come to my house tomorrow?"
I was shocked and couldn't speak for a minute before I realized it. I said yes. He ripped a piece of paper from the journal and gave it to me. It had his address and a note for me. I read it when he left. It said,
"To the girl who saw through me. Usually everyone sees past what I am or I might become. But when you looked, you saw something more. To them, I am glass, cold and cracked, but to you I am water, living and essential. I have never been seen before. It scared me. Thank you. I'm sorry."
Again, I swooned. The next day was a Saturday, so I went to his house and heard yelling as soon as I got close. The house was small, and the yard kinda dirty. I knocked on the door and Mark came out holding a guitar. His right eye was bruised. He moved past me, walking toward a path in the woods across the street.
"Are you coming?"
I followed him all the way down to the shore of a lake I didn't even know was there. He sat down, and I sat down beside him, wondering what he was thinking.
"You said you liked my poems."
I did.
"They're not poems, they're songs."
"Oh, can I hear one?"
"I've never played for anyone before."
"You don't put yourself out there. That's why people don't pay attention." He hesitated, then played the guitar and sang one of the songs. He sang about his fears, his sadness, and about feeling like a monster for having to put people down to make himself feel big. When he was done, he wiped a tear and said he would have to go back, or his foster dad would be angry. He left me there by the lake. As I watched the sunset over the water, I knew I was falling in love with him. When I got home, my mom told me the one thing that would ruin everything, just as it was all getting so good.
"We were moving across the country."
She told me she was sorry, but we had no choice. When I saw him across the lawn at school, he smiled at me. I practically melted, but my smile faded quickly. He knew something was wrong. He came up and walked with me.
"Are you okay?"
"I have to move." His eyes immediately lost their light. I could tell he was devastated. "What are you thinking?"
"It's selfish."
"It's okay. Tell me."
"You're the only one who sees me."
Maybe that's true right now, but it doesn't have to be. Your songs are beautiful.
I don't know how to talk to people. I don't relate to anyone.
Of course you do. We all have pain. We all get bullied. Even you. He thought about what I said. Then a smile crept on his face, and he looked right at me. My heart stopped when I saw his eyes. They were bright and full of hope.
I never thought about that. Thank you. I can't believe you're moving away.
I know. We both looked down, sad for ourselves because of how little time we had together. And then I raised my head and said, "You know what? We're here now, right? So why are we sad? We can be sad when I leave. But today I want to be happy."
You can just decide to be happy?
Yep, why not? You're here, I'm here. We have all day to talk and hang out. He thought about what I said, then smiled. He looked at me and asked,
"What do you want to do?"
Without thinking, I leaned over and kissed him. His cheeks turned bright red. We both laughed. He took me to a boba tea place. Then we ate some ramen and even went to karaoke. I had never had so much fun. I was worried it would only last for today, but I put all the worry behind me and enjoyed the moment. That night, we had to say goodbye. It was the hardest thing I ever had to do. He walked me home and kissed me. Before he left, the last thing he said to me was,
"If I never see you again, please know you'll always be with me and all the people I help with my music."
I watched him leave, holding on to the moment as long as I could. When it was time, we packed the moving car and left. Then, to my surprise, I saw him. He was on the sidewalk, talking to one of the shy kids he used to pick on. But this time, they were both smiling. He was apologizing and making friends. I knew then that everything would be okay. And as for me, I was going somewhere new. Sure, it was scary and a little sad, but it was also exciting. Who would I meet? What would I do there? I decided to enjoy every day and made a promise that I would make the most of any situation that came up in my life, good or bad. Hi, I'm Elisa. I live in San Francisco with my mom and my sister Janet. And before we get into the story, don't forget to like and subscribe. Ever since I was a kid, I dreamed of becoming a lawyer to stand up against people who act like my mom and sister. We are three rich with a big mansion, many cars, and dozens of servants. My mom doesn't like poor people and thinks they all should be tied to a rocket and launched to Mars. Like one day when I was 8, Janet accidentally pushed a servant while snatching a toy from me. The servant then tripped.
Oh God, you filthy, ugly, dirty poor. You touched me. I had just taken a bath. You ruined me with your poverty germs. Servants, turn the Giza on. I'm going to take a bath again.
As she went inside, Janet brought a jug of water and poured all the water into his pants. The servant was embarrassed. I confronted Janet. Janet, that's not right. He didn't do it on purpose. You pushed him. Please be a human. So you see, this is how my mom and sister were. I never understood why people with less money are considered less human. I was really against this concept. And that's why my mom and sister never liked me. And Janet was a big troublemaker. Like, she would spit on my face, make a hole in the back of my dress, jump on the bed when I was asleep, and much more. But as we grew up, I started doing things back to Janet. Like one morning when I was 16, I splashed water on Janet's face while she was asleep. Wake up!
Idiot. What is this behavior?
Mom asked me to clean all the trash. So I started with you, and I ran away as she chased me. I felt so peaceful, but Janet made a complaint to my mom, and I was called.
That's not an ethical way to wake someone up.
Exactly.
Mom, she's always mean to me, but you don't see any fault in her?
Why would I? She doesn't have any.
Mom, you're the only one who knows me.
Huh, I'll approach the United Nations for Human Rights Commission if you both don't stop troubling me and the poor saying that I stormed out. It was my first day in high school, but the beginning of my day was ruined. Janet and I studied in the same class. During English class, the teacher introduced a new Amber. Amber was a poor girl on scholarship. As she walked past Janet, Janet covered her nose with her hands.
Oh my God, why do you smell like shit? Don't you take a shower? Oh God, I can't take it.
And then she wore a mask. As the whole class laughed, Amber looked embarrassed, and I felt pity for her. I looked at the teacher, but she smirked. I gestured to Amber to come sit with me, and she did. Don't mind, the world has a lot of mean people. I'm Elisa. She just smiled and sat quietly. I could feel what she must be feeling inside, but I was more angry at the teacher than Janet because the teacher was ridiculous. She needed punishment, so I thought of a plan. During lunch, I rushed to her scooter, then I punctured the tires and vanished. After school, as the teacher tried to accelerate her scooter, it slipped and ran away. making the teacher fall on the schoolyard. Janet and her squad laughed at her. Thank God no one knew it was me. Then Amber came to me and said,
I know it was you.
You know, but how?
I saw when I was going outside. Aren't you scared?
Scared me? Ha ha ha. No one can frighten lions. Then I roared and she laughed out loud. It felt good to see her laughing. We became friends instantly, and she seemed like a nice girl to me. From the next day onwards, we started hanging out together. We went to malls, amusement parks, and picnics. I bought her dresses, shoes, and bags. Within a few weeks, she became my bestie. But I sensed that Janet didn't like it much. Because one day when I went home after school, Mom was angry with me for befriending Amber.
Elisa, how could you do this? You're hanging out with a filthy poor girl.
But Mom, she is rich at heart.
No, Mom, she can't be rich. Anyway, she smells bad. I've smelled her.
Gosh, I don't know what bad I did in my previous life to get a daughter like you, Elisa.
Probably you treated the poor like animals in that birth too.
I can't believe you can talk so badly to such a great woman like Mom.
Shut up, you mom slave!
I don't think I have any option left than to hang myself. I'm going to heaven.
Heaven or hell? Take Janet also. Oh wait, I don't believe you guys. I need assurance. Let me come after you. And I was grounded for a full 4 days. A week later, winter vacations arrived, and I decided to enjoy the holidays at our farmhouse with Amber. We really enjoyed our vacation, but one day in the market, while standing beside my car and talking to Amber, someone bumped their car into me. I got pushed, fell on an egg basket, and all the eggs broke. My dress was messed up, and I yelled, "Who the hell is driving this dumper who is blind here? Come out!" I said, "Come out now," and a boy came out.
Well, that was a mistake, beautiful girl. I would pay.
I didn't ask for money. I need an apology. He apologized, but he paid me a bit more. When I asked him, he said it was a tip for my beauty, and my blood boiled like never before. I threw all his money on his face. Then, I picked up a stick and hit his car's windshield, hard as it broke. I gave him money with a tip. Keep it and don't mess with Elisa. Ever. He then pulled me and kissed me on my lips. I stood shocked. He went off, and Amber smiled. The next day at school, Amber kept teasing me about the kiss scene. After school, I saw the same boy sitting on his car's bonnet. He walked up to me and said,
Hey, I'm Jack. Remember the boy who kissed you that day?
No, I don't need to.
I wanted to say that I like you.
Get lost!
Oh, it's so noisy here. You said I like you too, and I heard get lost.
I said get lost. Only then, he handed a cheat paper to Amber and went off. Amber smiled, but I didn't ask her what it was about. Suddenly, I noticed Janet peeking from behind a wall. Ugh, that weirdo always stalked me. I stuck my tongue out at her and went off. That day at home, I couldn't stop thinking about Jack. I liked his attitude, the way he would walk, talk, and flirt. Everything seemed so attractive. I was curious to meet Amber the next day and learn about him. But the next day at school, I pretended like I didn't care. Amber said,
Hey, Elisa, Jack has given his phone number on the cheat.
So?
He has asked you to call him?
My foot? Why would I?
But he is a handsome guy.
I don't think so.
Thank God you denied it. I really like him. I'll call him now.
Don't you dare! He is mine! And we both laughed. That day, before I could call him, he called me on my number. Lord. Amber gave him my number. Anyway, we started talking on the phone every day. He seemed like a nice and caring guy, but I somewhere knew this wasn't gonna go nicely, as I saw Janet would often sneak peek into my room. Soon, Jack was admitted to my class. Now, we would hang out together. Weeks passed and we came closer and closer. He would take me to beaches. We had a lot of fun, planned our future, and we even decided our kids' names. One day, he told me he was actually a poor guy. The car and the money were his besties, but I just hugged him because money was never my concern. Then something happened that I was always afraid of. One day, Janet told Mom about Jack, and Mom asked me to bring him home. That was the first time I was scared a bit. Jack came home in his original identity. He wore poor clothes and a slipper with a hole in it. When Mom noticed it, she went bonkers on him.
I think I know your breed. Poor beggars like you trap rich girls to make money, and you think I'll fall for it?
Stop it, Mom!
Ma'am, I love your daughter. That's the truth no one can deny. But believe me, I was never after her money. In fact, before today, I never knew she was your daughter. She never told me.
Shut up, you scoundrel.
Watch your ethics, Janet. He is my boyfriend.
Security, throw this poor boy out of my house right now, or I'll get infected with his poverty germs.
Mom, you can't do that to him. And within a minute, Jack was thrown out. I couldn't bear all this and smashed all the expensive antique items that Mom had purchased from foreign countries. Damn, all she cared about was money only. But then I was locked in a room for 5 days. I cried my heart out. I wished Dad was alive. On the morning of the 6th day, I heard a whispering sound from the window. When I checked, I was shocked to see Amber. She climbed up that big pipe to reach my room.
Elisa, I'm here to take you to school. Come, it's gonna be a special day for you.
I climbed down the same pipe and we ran away from home. Then, when I went to school, all the students had gathered in the auditorium. Turned out there was a program where the country's biggest businessman had been invited as a chief guest. My mom was there on the stage too, and she looked shocked as she spotted me. Suddenly, someone hugged me from behind, and I turned to see Jack there. Thank God, Jack! You aren't angry at me! I thought I lost you forever!
Why would a diamond be punished for coal?
And we both laughed.
So finally, lovebirds got united. Let me click a picture.
Suddenly, the chief guest arrived on the stage, and he gave an outstanding speech. Mom looked so happy to meet him. Then he said,
"Well, you students might not know this, but among you all, my son studies too."
And then he pointed to Jack. OMG, I was literally shocked. Jack was the son of the richest businessman in the country. I looked at him and he smiled. Jack went onto the stage and Mom stood stunned. After the program, when he came to me, I was angry at him for lying. He said,
I didn't lie to you, Elisa. My dad had thrown me out because I never wanted to follow in his footsteps. I lived with my friend for many months. In fact, I had lost all hope that Dad would ever take me back. But now, we, father and son, have united again. I had told Amber everything and she helped me.
I trust you more than anyone in the world, Jack. You're my life. I laid my head on his chest as he made me sit on the ground. I was feeling so relieved and peaceful. Jack, Amber and I had quite a good time that day. When I went home, I saw Mom crying. I didn't ask her and began walking to my room. But then she said,
Janet has left. A letter for me. She fell in love with a janitor and ran away with him. Oh, those poverty germs.
Well, that's karma, Mom. You really deserve it. I went to my room, packed all my stuff, and as I walked by Mom, she asked me, where was I going? Far from you, any place where you aren't visible to me, and I left. I shifted to Jack's home. That night, we both laid on the terrace, looking up at the stars.
Have you really left your mom forever?
No, only until she learns to treat others like she wants to be treated, and he held my hand tightly as we continued gazing at the stars. Before we finish, I just want to say that climbing the water pipe is really dangerous. Your safety should always come first.